How are you, everybody? Can you hear me okay? Please let me know if the audio is working okay. Is the audio okay? Okay. Christine, Koi, Clip Ulrich, hi Long Paul, good to see you. Meal on meditation. Good afternoon, Ajahn. Adelaide de Bethany, my respect, Ajahn. Fong Xin Yi, good afternoon, Long Paul. Clip Ulrich, audio good. Fong Xin Yi, audio is good. Lok Chin Fai, good afternoon, Bante. Meal on meditation, the sound and picture are okay. Lok Chin Fai, okay. Gerald T. C. Lim, good morning, Ajahn. Adelaide de Bethany, we can hear very well, Ajahn. Okay, send in your questions. If you have any questions, please send them in. I'll be happy to reply in as much as I know how. Today is Saturday morning here in Thailand. It's about 11:45 right now. So I'm trying a different method. Early on I used Zoom, and now I'm here with this typing in the questions. Gerald T. Sealing, greetings from Melbourne, Australia. Rudy Payne, hi Ajahn. I am feeling sad as my parents are not well. How should I overcome this feeling? First you have to calm your mind, meditate, using a mantra, or watch your breath. Stop thinking about them temporarily. Once your mind has become calm, and after you are finished with your meditation, you should reflect on the Buddha's teaching that say that once we are born, we are subjected to aging, sickness, and death, and separation. This is the truth of our body. But don't be afraid, because the body is not us. We are not the body. We are the spiritual beings that connect to the body temporarily. One day we will have to disconnect. So if your parents get sick or die, this is just their body. They themselves don't get sick or die. They are spiritual beings attached to the body. Joyce Cho, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Michael Saw, Sadhu, Sadhu. Michael, CHNG, dear Ajahn, can we do meditation while listening to chanting? Listening to chanting is a form of meditation. So if you listen to chanting, just pay attention to the chanting. You don't need to watch your breath or recite a mantra. Just use the chanting as your meditation object. Ong Apprentice, sound is good, Long Paul. Hi, good to see you. Good to hear from you. If you have any questions that you want to submit, you can go ahead and submit them at this time. Okay, this question from Katie Gerard through her inquiry at Ajahn Suchart Abhijato Dhamma for the asking. Katie Gerard. Is meditation the only way to Nibbana? Is there any other way? Meditation is part of the way. You need the three practices of keeping the precepts and meditation, and then you have to develop wisdom that will eventually get you to Nibbana. So you need to develop these 3 practices by starting with keeping the 5 precepts, then move on to the 8 precepts, and more if you become a monk or a nun. Then you have to meditate to concentrate your mind into calm and peace. And then after that, when you come out of your meditation, you have to develop insight or wisdom by teaching your mind to see that everything that you are involved with are impermanent, causing suffering and no self. Then you will be able to get to Nibbana that way. From Chi Chin Chuan, Ajahn, if we can transfer or share merit, we also can share and transfer demerit. I'm not so sure about this. We only hear about transferring good merit. Merit's a good merit, a good feeling that you can share with other spiritual beings. If you want to share a bad feeling, I don't think other spiritual beings would like to accept it anyway. So you might be able to share your bad feelings, but I don't think anybody would like to accept your bad feelings. PND and Namo Buddhaya. Ajahn, be healthy and happy all the time, from PND, Indonesia. We have visited Ajahn 2 times and now waiting free flight regulations. We will visit Ajahn again. Sadhu, sadhu. Palang Lat Nok, sadhu. Monica Chen. Good afternoon, Luang Po. I have many times experienced a sense of falling from a high place while entering into sleep. Is this samadhi? It is kind of like samadhi, but it's not. It is imitation samadhi, because with samadhi you have to be fully alert. While when you fall into sleep, you fall into the bhavanga of sleep. You fall into the state of sleep. So this is not samadhi, because you are not alert, not aware. You don't have mindfulness. If so, should I continue to meditate instead of entering into sleep? If you are fully aware, if you are fully alert, fully mindful, then you are in samadhi. If you're not alert, not fully aware, then you are in sleep. พลังลาดนอกสาธุกับชาวต่างชาติด้วยครับ Ajahn Suchart, this from Sue. Sue, who sent question to the assistants. This is the answer to you, Sue. Can craving be eliminated only by resistance and wisdom without having fourth jhana? You can try it. It will be difficult. It's like trying to remove your tooth without any anesthesia. You can feel very painful when you try to resist your cravings without having any jhana. You feel terrible. To the point where you might not be able to resist them. But if you have jhana, if you have equanimity, you'll find resisting your cravings to be manageable. Joy Chor, Ajahn, I have a question. I have practiced every day and can get the calmness, but now that it isn't strong enough. Should I bring my suffering from the past to contemplate? You can try that to see if you still suffer or not when you bring something that you used to have suffering with. Or you can just think of the future, like, should you die, how do you feel like? Do you feel okay with it, or you still feel afraid of it? This will more or less tell you whether you are strong enough to accept them or not. Think of, if you want to find out whether you're strong enough with pain, just try to sit for a long time and let the pain arise and cease by itself. Don't react to the pain. See? From Gerald T.C. Lim, Ajahn, please explain this spiritual being. What is this spiritual being in relation to Nibbana? Spiritual being is when we don't have a body. You and I have a spiritual being and a physical being right now. Our spiritual being connects to the body, which is the physical being. But when the body dies, then we have to exist alone as the spiritual being. But since we haven't yet eliminated all our defilements, all our cravings, we will then go seek for a new physical body to attach to, because we need a physical body being to use in order for us to enjoy the sensual objects. So we need to have the body which have eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and body, so we can then experience the visual, audio, the taste, the smell, and the touch through the body. But if we can eliminate all our cravings, our sensual cravings, our craving for being and craving for not being, then the mind becomes pure. The spiritual being becomes pure. Then it will not go to take a new body to attach to. So this is Nibbana, a spiritual being without any defilements. CHNG Geksu Sukihotu Ajahn, please explain wisdom develop samadhi and ways to practice. This is another way of calming your mind when you find it impossible to use mindfulness, such as watching your breath, or reciting a mantra, because your mind keep being engaged with something, like someone whom you love, whom you worried about, because they are sick or they are about to die. So you don't have the concentration to develop samadhi. Then you have to contemplate or investigate the nature of the person that you are worried about. See them as anicca, impermanent. They are subjected to aging, sickness, and death. And they are anatta. No one can stop the aging, sickness, and death. Once you see the anicca, anatta, and the dukkha that you experience by clinging to them, by wishing or wanting them to be well, then you can let go of your attachment to them. When you do this, your mind will then drop into samadhi. When you let go of your attachment to the person that you are worried about. This is what we call wisdom developed samadhi. It can be applied to any object, even your painful feeling. When you have painful feelings, you can investigate the nature of the painful feeling to see that it is anicca, dukkha, anatta. Once you see that, then you will leave the painful feeling alone. You'll stop your desire for the painful feeling to disappear. Then your mind will become calm. This is what we call wisdom developed samadhi. Shayam lama gurang. Namo buddhaya satu satu. This is another question sent into the web page from Esther Eve. I can feel my breath at the tip of my nose. Is it okay that I just watch the inhaling and exhaling? Yes, as long as you know you are inhaling and exhaling, you you are doing okay. Just being aware of that. If you cannot feel the contact at the tip of your nose. From Lam Choi Lin, every day we should meditate for how many hours? Then we got some taste of jhana. Thank you. First, you have to develop mindfulness all the time before you can meditate successfully. And this you can do from the time you get up to the time you go to sleep, by reciting a mantra or by focusing on your body activity. Keep your mind with the mantra or with the body activity. Don't let the mind think about other things, except things that you really have to think about. Once you have continuous mindfulness, then you can sit down and maybe in a few minutes your mind can enter into jhana. So the key is to develop mindfulness first before you meditate. Without mindfulness, doesn't matter how many hours you meditate, you will not get any result. Here's another question sent in by our web page, by our Facebook page follower from KS10. I have a history of having seizures, which came from my brain cancer. The cancer is now in remission. We're getting into deep meditation make the seizure worse. Meditation doesn't do anything as far as the body is concerned. Meditation is doing good for the mind. When you meditate, your mind can become peaceful and calm and not be disturbed or irritated by the seizure of the body. But the seizure of the body is just a physical condition that meditation doesn't heal. So, but it helps the mind to be protected from the seizure. It will not feel bad when the seizure arises. From Gerald T. Sealing, thank you, Ajahn, Sadhu, Sadhu. From Dylan Elvis, Sadhu, Sadhu, Bante. As per your explanation on anatta in the previous session, you mentioned self is a construct of the mind. Does that mean everything we see and feel is also a construct of the mind? No, what we see, they are real. You see the four elements in different type of formation. All things we see are formation of the four elements, like the trees, the animals, the people. These are formation, but we give them names or we give them concepts. We see this to be trees, we see this to be man, woman, and we see this man to be father, mother. We see this woman to be mother, and so forth. We're not seeing the real thing. We forget and we give it a new label. Give the body the new label as father, mother, son, and daughters, and so forth. But in fact, they are just formations. They are made from the four elements of water, earth, water, fire, and wind. And they are all impermanent. They rise and cease. They are natural processes of phenomena. The construct of the mind is the concept of people, human, animal, nationality, races, and so forth. American, Chinese, these are all the construct of the mind. The truth is they are all formations made from the four elements. Okay. To Felicia Chan, from Felicia Chan, Sadhu. Another question sent in to the to the Facebook page from William. How can I control my lustful desire that arises in my mind frequently? If your lustful desire concerning sexual desire, then you have to look at the unpleasant parts of the body. We call asubha. You have to look at the body as unattractive. If you see the outside as attractive, then you have to go inside. You have to look under the skin, look at the skeleton, look at the heart, the lungs, the liver, the kidneys, and the intestines. Once you see these parts of the body, then your sexual desire will disappear. From Matt Drusen, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. From Chong Mei Ling, how can we help the person who just passed away? You can make merits and share the merits with them. Whether they will receive it or not, it depends on which states of spiritual beings they become. If they become a hungry spiritual being, then they will appreciate your charity. If they become a happy spiritual beings, they don't need your merit. So you don't know, but this is one way you can help. When you make charity, give dana, then you can dedicate parts of these merits to the departed. If they are waiting for it, then they will receive it. If they don't, then it's okay, because most of the merits that you made still belongs to you. From Joyce Chore, Ajahn, I practice full-heartedly and know the calmness, but never experience the joyous and happy state. I just get very peaceful and light feeling after the meditation sitting. How to improve from here? You have to continue on concentrating on your breath. If you use your breath as the object of meditation. If you use the mantra, you have to continue on with reciting the mantra. Don't stop doing until the mind becomes fully calm and peaceful and happy. From Nabiti, Sadhu, Sadhu. Another question sent into the Facebook page. Question number 1, from Deborah. Question number 1, if I have extra money, is it better to give away to charity? B, save it so that I can take a year off work to stay at home to meditate. Or C, buy a small forest so I will have a quiet place to practice. Any choice is good. I think the best choice is to enable you to have a quiet place to practice. You need a quiet place in order to develop your practice. So if you can buy a place and meditate, then that's probably the best choice for you. From Eric Sidner, hello Ajahn, great to be back here and hear you again. I wonder if you might tell us what is the meaning of life. Well, life is a temporary existence that the spiritual being or the mind uses life as the means of making itself happy. It has to have a body in order to experience the sensual objects and be happy by that. But it also can become a form of suffering, because sometimes you lose what you have, sometimes you lose what you love. Then instead of being happy, you become sad. So this is life for most people, to enjoy, but at the same time to suffer when they lose something that they enjoy. Second question, what is our purpose? If you study Buddhism, our purpose is to stop life. It's not to have rebirth, because every time you reborn, you will have both good and bad feelings. Usually more of the bad feeling than the good feeling. You will have suffering because the body that you possess will become old, become sick and die. So the purpose of our life, according to Buddhism, is to practice the triple training of Sila, Samadhi and Panya to stop rebirth. You ask, what is our purpose? Is it to simply create good karma or to realize emptiness? This is part of the process. You have to keep doing good karma and meditate to enter into emptiness. Then you will be able to see that there's nothing better than being alone, being empty, being a spiritual being, a happy spiritual being. Then you can stop rebirth that way. If there is nothing what is there to realize? See, emptiness. If you realize emptiness, you realize the supreme happiness. See, when the mind becomes completely empty of the defilements, then this supreme happiness or supreme bliss will appear. So that's the purpose, to reach supreme happiness of Nibbana. Nibbana is the supreme emptiness. Nibbana is the supreme happiness. Nibbanang palamang sunyang, Nibbanang palamang sukhang. I have always asked this question since I was a young boy, puzzled by why we are here. I hope you are well. I hope I answer your question. That our goal is to make our mind empty of defilements, of cravings, of desire. Once we reach that goal, we will reach the supreme happiness. That's the purpose of life, to practice, to purify the mind, to reach the supreme emptiness and the supreme happiness. From many hours, sadhu, sadhu. Another question from the Facebook page. From Deborah, question number 2. Over 2 years ago, my students showed me a note of an image of the student stabbing another student. The student said it was funny, and I told him that it wasn't funny. As we were talking, the rest of the class could hear some of what I said. The student went home and told his mom that I yelled at him for 10 minutes in front of the class. The mom got very angry at me, and later on, the student spread rumors about me that I was a child abuser. I still think about this incident, especially during meditation. Is there anything I can do to get over it, and did I do something wrong? Well, if you had good intention when you did it, then there's nothing wrong. To tell people that showing violence is not good. It's not funny. If someone did this to you, if someone stabbed you, how would you feel? But maybe the way you talk might be a little bit intimidating or something, and then maybe the optics or the image you show might not be good to them. That's all. But I think there's nothing you can do. It's already past. Just acknowledge that maybe you should just have remain quiet. But if you think that you could help that student by telling them what is good and bad, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Okay, from Paul Westbury. It is within right view if someone can see devas and other beings. But in ultimate reality, are these still delusions since the world is made of avijja? The ability to see devas and other beings is a psychic power. It's a special ability for some spiritual beings. They are real. Spiritual beings are real, just like you are real. But in ultimate reality, are these still delusion? Since the world is made of avijja. No, the devas and other spiritual beings, they are real. They exist in the samsara. They keep changing their status. Sometimes they become devas. The next time they might become human or animals, or being hungry spiritual beings, or fearful spiritual beings, or hateful spiritual beings. These are beings that exist in samsara. Avijja is in the mind of each spiritual being, and avijja just deceive the spiritual being to go look for happiness outside of themselves. That's all. Once you become enlightened, you realize that true happiness is within yourself. Then avijja will then be eliminated from your mind or from your spiritual beings. Then you will only look for happiness inside yourself. Happiness at the emptiness, at the supreme emptiness. From Tijandra Simle, Namaskara Longpo. Too long. I'm sorry, I cannot read your question. Sanya, Vinyana, Sankara, Vedana. These are the four namakhandas. They are part of the mind, part of the knowing element, or the spiritual beings. Each spiritual being has these four namakkhanda: Sanya, Vinyana, Sankara, and Vedana. From Limho, Satu, Satu, Satu. From grape all which things such as cravings, doubt, and mental formation seem to have a physical effect on the body. It can manifest as slight dizziness or depression. With more meditation practice, I find that the peace and stability from meditation is very different. Okay, I think this is just a commentary, not a question, so I will have to move on. From PNDN, Anumodana Ajahn. From Lim Ho, Satu, Satu, Satu. From Kim H. Chua, Satu. From Su Liu, Anumodana Ajahn. Su Liu, Satu, Satu. Another question sent into the Facebook page from Jeffrey Yeo. Question number 1. When I practice sati and awareness of the 5 aggregates, there are a few aggregates happening at the same time. When I sit down, if I feel cold, then my mind will react, while my eyes were seeing other people moving around. How to practice sati and sampajanya in such a situation? Normally, if you practice sati and sampajanya, you just keep watching your body. Just know what your body is doing, that's all. That's the purpose of practicing mindfulness or sati, is to keep your mind from thinking or reacting to anything. Just keep it watching the body. If the body feels cold, just know that it feels cold. And try not to react if it's possible. If you have to react, then react rationally. Like if it's too cold, then you put on a coat or something to keep your body warm. But you don't want to react emotionally by feeling bad or something like that. You just want to be aware of what is going on with the body. From Nabiti, Ajahn, I always feel like someone sent something like black magic. I know that is my kilesa, but I cannot delete it from my perception. Hope Ajahn give me advice. Just ignore it. Whenever you feel like, just treat it like one of the other feelings. They come and go. They are anicca. They are anatta. Sometimes you cannot force them to go away. So just let them come, let them stay, and let them disappear by themselves. Just don't react to them, that's all. Just be aware. From Paul Westbury, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. From Chin Li Ching, good afternoon, Ajahn. I have spent few days doing meditation and chanting and staying alone. I find very good. It is encouraging for yogis. It is encouraged for yogis. Yes, if you want to be a meditator, you have to stay alone and meditate, do a lot of meditation, and seek happiness within yourself. Seek happiness from meditation because it's more reliable. You can have them all the time when you know how to do it. From Visakha Chu, good afternoon, Ajahn. Watch your Zoom session this morning. What a nice thing to get first thing in the morning. And now another session. Today is my lucky day. Thank you, Ajahn. I do need all the motivation as frequently as this. Another question sent to the Facebook page from Jeffrey Yeo. Question number 2. Is the decision to practice Dhamma due to sankhara, which arises as a result of a cause, and is therefore not self and not within our control? No, your sankhara, sometimes you can control them, but it's just the direction of your sankhara that is going in the wrong direction. Most of your sankhara sent toward sensual gratification, sensual pleasures. So you want to control or redirect your sankhara toward the practice of Dhamma instead. So if you have the decision to practice Dhamma, then you are directing sankhara to go into the good direction. If you let your sankhara, if you decide to go and have fun, then you are letting sankhara directing you into the wrong direction, towards suffering. Okay. From Michael Yap, Sadhu, Sadhu. From Eva Chen, dear John, greeting from New Zealand. Just wondering that will people able to save and delay their parami to be fruitful in later life? Let's say living simple this life and save the collection parami for next life to fruitful at right time to fulfill the aspiration. At what stage for the people that know his her time and date of dying? No, you cannot control the consequence of your parami. Once you have the parami, it will take effect. It will lead your life into the right direction. So whenever it is complete, then it will become fully fruitful. So just keep. It's like eating. You know? When you eat, you cannot control that. I want to be full tomorrow. If you keep eating and you don't stop, then you eventually will become full sooner than later. If you don't want to receive the consequence of your parami, then you shouldn't do any parami at this time. But that would be stupid, because parami is good for you and you need it. And the more you have, the sooner you have it, the better for yourself, because then you'll be closer to Nibbana and further away from samsara. From dealing always, so in metta meditation, when we spread loving kindness to everyone, including ourselves, isn't it against the concept of anatta? So you have to look at anatta at a different level than atta. We live in the conventional world in which we see people as atta, you, me, and everybody. There's a self in them. So you share your loving kindness toward this being because you want them to be happy. Why anatta is something that you look at another level, at the level of when you want to be detached from them, not to cling to them. Then you look at them as anatta. Or if you want to help them, if you want to share happiness or loving kindness, and they don't accept it, then you can say that they are anatta, because they are not under your control. You want to give them this, but they don't want to accept it. So this is anatta in that sense of the word. So it depends on how you want to look at atta or anatta. When you still have to engage with people and you want to be nice and kind to them, then you use atta. They have a self and you have a self. But if you want to be detached from them, then you have to look at them as anatta. From Meli, Sadhu, Sadhu, Sadhu. Lam Choi Lin. How to manage our time on Dhamma knowledge and meditation, yoga exercise and Qigong. Am I too greedy to want so many things? Well, you have to choose what you want, spiritual development or physical development. If you want to develop spiritual development, then you need to spend time on Dhamma knowledge and meditation. But if you want physical development, then you stick to yoga, exercise, and Qigong. So they are two separate paths. In Buddhism, we seek the spiritual development, but we also maintain the body to the minimum level, to the optimum level. Keep the body healthy and strong enough to practice meditation, that's all. From Tijandra Simle, Namaskar Lumpur. Would you explain regarding Nama Khanda, Sanya Sankhara, Vedana Vijnana? Please advise how my working due to Nama Khanda with some examples. Okay, see, we all have a spiritual being. And this spiritual being has four parts. Let's call the four Nama Khanda. We have Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, and Vijnana. Vedana is feeling, such as feeling good, feeling painful or not painful, feeling hungry or not hungry. This is Vedana. Sanya is the perception of things that you come into contact with. When you see something, like see a person, your sanya will then try to figure out what this person is. Is he a man, a woman? Is he has a name or not has a name? Is he good or bad? See? This is the function of sanya. Or memory. Sanya can be memory also. If you have seen this person before and you might be able to remember, this person has a name so and so. He was good to you or bad to you. This is sanya. Once you see something, see an image, your sanya will determine whether it's a good or bad image in relation to your past experience. Once you find out that this image is good, then you will have good feeling arising. If you determine that this person is bad to you, was bad to you, then you will have bad feelings. When you have good or bad feeling, then your sankhara will then decide what to do. Should I run away from this person, or should I welcome this person? This is sankhara, thinking. And vijnana is the consciousness that takes the image that comes to the eyes and send it to the mind, send it to sanya. So actually the working of the four namakanda start with vijnana. Vijnana will receive the objects, the sensual objects that comes into contact with the sensual organs. Then it will send to sanya to analyze, to find out whether these images, these sensual objects are good or bad. Once it has determined, then you have good or bad feeling arises. Then you have sankhara to decide what to do with these sensual objects. Question number 2. During meditation practice, I felt just sit for 5 minutes, but when I saw the real time, I have sit for 1.5 hours. After this condition for almost 1 week, I feel very happy, always smile, no sad, no hate. It's very happy. What is the condition? It is calm. When you enter into samadhi, time will pass by very quickly, because there is nothing to indicate to you how long the time has passed. There are no objects to let you know, like a clock or something, to let you know how the time has gone by. So it's not matter, doesn't matter, as long as you're happy. That's the goal of meditation practice. From Eva Chen, thank you Ajahn. From Chin Li Ching, thank you Ajahn. I was watching the body movements after listening to you. The mind pay attention to how I sit, how I stand, etc. The mind was just doing it by itself after hearing your talk. I noticed the mind needs to be directed. Is it true? I find that there is interest in the mind. Yes, you have to direct your mind toward thoughtlessness, to emptiness. Because without any thought, then your mind can be free from emotion, good and bad emotion. With thought, your mind can be consumed by good or bad emotions, usually bad emotions. So it's better not to think. It's better to be empty of thought, just to be merely know. And direct your mind to stop thinking about acquiring or possessing or desiring. Because by acquiring or desiring, you create dukkha in your mind. From Eva Chen, can hear clearly, sound is good. Thank you. Arch Lu Suki Hondu Ajahn. Ajahn, another question from people sending in to the Facebook page. From TJOA, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Question number 1, if my anger is toward my parents, should I walk away when I can't accept their opinion? Yes, don't get angry at your parents. They're not supposed to. You're not supposed to be angry at them at all. If you can, if you get angry, try to suppress it by. If you can leave them, if you can go somewhere else, go and then calm your mind by using a mantra. Because your parents are someone who is nice, good to you, and give you the most precious gift is the gift of life. So you should never get angry with your parents if it's possible. If you do, don't show your anger. Try to suppress them. As far as accepting their opinion or not, this is okay. If you think their opinion is not right, you don't have to accept them. But you don't have to argue with them either. You just keep quiet. Just let them express their opinion, and you just You just obediently or respectfully listen. That's all. You don't have to react to whatever they say. Okay, from TJOA, the second question. My parents wouldn't want me to live as an ordained person. I have the right to choose, but this is concerning the status in the society, such as being the proud parents when the son is getting married and having a good career. Maybe you just have to wait until they die. After they die, then you can become fully independent. Then you can then decide what to do. From Brian Ong, dear Tanajan, thanks a lot for your compassion. We are fortunate to hear the Dhamma teaching now in this present life. How can we ensure we can have the opportunity to be able to hear Dhamma and continue practicing in building our parami in our future lives and not fall into delusion and ignorance? Sadhu and Anubodhana. You have to keep studying as much as you can and practice Dhamma as much as you can. That's the only thing you can do right now. There's no guarantee about the future because you don't know what's going to happen in the future. But right now, if you can study and practice the Dhamma, do it as much as you can. Then you might be able to build up the Dhamma inside your heart, and then you can take it with you into your future lives. Then you might not even need to study or practice any Dhamma anymore later on in your future lives. From Morris Twig, Prajan, good morning. The Dhamma protect those who practice the Dhamma. Thank you for your fruitful advice and teaching. From Sochi Chim, Sadhu Sadhu. From Mio on meditation. According to Dylan's question, we should choose Atta when we meet people to give metta, and we should use Anatta if engagement with them is not successful to prevent or eliminate dukkha. Yes, that's right. From Avi STHA, Namaste. I have no problem with sexual desire, but I find night ejaculation to be a problem. I have wet dreams few times a month and I don't like it when my cloth is soiled. It's natural bodily process, but I find it filthy. I am 30 plus years of age and unmarried by choice, so I do masturbate once a week. To keep this from happening, and it has helped me, but I would like to know if there is any other Dhamma full way to reduce wet dreams. Does masturbation add good, neutral, or bad karma? Masturbation adds bad karma because it will support your sexual desire, maintain the sexual desire. Instead, you should contemplate on asubha. You should contemplate on the unattractive parts of the body, such as the parts under the skin. Contemplate on the skeleton, on the heart, the lungs, the kidneys, the liver, the intestines. Just try to look at these parts of the body. Then your sexual desire can be diminished, and then your wet dream will also diminish. And eventually we all disappear from your life if you can all the time look at the body as being unattractive. From Fei Yin Wong, dear Ajahn, thank you again for your teaching. My mother has had an abortion before because of economic circumstances. How can I help bear some of that karma? No, each person have their own responsibility to bear their own karma. So no one else can share their karma with them. From Many Jyotiraso, Namaskar Bhajanka. If we are practicing asubha to see unattractive things in our body, but we are not practicing a precept. Is it going to be a conflict way of practice? Yes, if you keep the 5 precepts and then you still want to have sexual activities, then if you contemplate on a supa, then it will block your sexual activities. So we use asupa contemplation to get rid or to minimize our sexual desire. Like if we keep the 8 precepts, if we want to lessen our sexual activity, or like the person who just has to stop masturbating, for instance. So you need to contemplate on the asupa, so that your sexual desire will diminish or disappear. Then you won't have to do any sexual activity. From T. Jandra Sinde, Namaskar Lungpo. Question number 1. When we do chanting sutta or gatha, which one is better? Anyone is okay, they are all the same. The purpose of chanting is to develop mindfulness and samadhi. So just chant the one that you can remember. Don't chant by reading from the text, because you will have to use your eyes, and then they will make it harder for your mind to become calm and peaceful. Question number 2. Do chanting without reading the meaning of the sutta or gatha. If you're chanting for samadhi or mindfulness, you don't need to understand the meaning of the sutta. Do chanting and read the meaning of sutta or gatha. If you want to read and understand the meaning, you will be developing developing wisdom, because the gatha is the teaching of the Buddha. So when you understand the meaning, then you get knowledge from reading the gatha or the sutta. From AVSTHA, thank you Ajahn. We'll try more with asupa meditation. This body is filthy for sure. You should look at the other people's body, the body that you have sexual desire for, not your body. Because if you look at the filthiness of your body, you might despise your own body, and you might do something bad to your body, which is not the right way to do. You just have to accept that everybody's body is filthy, but we can live with the filthiness of the body. We don't have to do anything bad to the body. From Sally Chi, dear Ajahn, how to develop fully understand regarding death and overcome the condition? Well, you just have to look that everybody who is born will all have to die one day, sooner or later. This is the fact or the truth that no one can stop, can change, or can eliminate. The only way not to die is not to be born, that's all. If you don't want to die, then you have to practice Dhamma to the point where you get to Nibbana. Once you get to Nibbana, then you don't have to be reborn. And when you don't born, then you will not die again. But once you are born, you have to accept death. But you have to understand that the body dies, but not you. You are not the body. You are a spiritual being that hooked or attached to this body. And so when the body dies, it's just a matter of separation from the body. You just separate from the body. You don't die along with the body. From Leon Yu Ming, good afternoon and Sukhi Hotu. Ajahn Suchart, may Ajahn be well, healthy, safe and peaceful and happy. Thank you. From Brian Ong, thank you, Tan Ajahn Satu. From Chi Chin Chuan, Ajahn, when I wake up, I start to chant Namo Buddhaya continuously. Is that okay? Yes, you can do it all the time, all day long. When you don't have to think, or when your mind starts to sing aimlessly, then you should use your chanting to stop it. Try to bring the mind back into the present, to be where you are with the body. From AV, STHA, all bodies are filthy, okay. But these are our vehicles to reach to the other shore of peace and nirvana. So we have to take good care of this until we are free. Thank you, Ajahn. From Monica Chen, thank you, Long Paul. From Leong Yu Meng, what is the difference between Vipassana Ubeka and Bojjhanga Ubeka? The same one, they are the same thing. You develop Vipassana, you get Ubeka, and it's also in the Bojjhanga Ubeka. The Bojjhanga Ubeka comes from two sources, from Samadhi, from mindfulness meditation, and from Vipassana meditation. So the goal is to have permanent Ubeka. Vipassana Ubeka is permanent, while mindfulness Ubeka or Samadhi Ubeka is temporary. From KB Leong, good afternoon, Ajahn. I have benefited a lot from your teachings, able to solve my problems on my own, develop sati, overcome pain in my meditation. Thank you, Ajahn. May Ajahn be well and happy. From Chia Chin Chuan, when I chant many times, my brain will drift. Do I just stop my brain and bring back to chanting Namo Buddhaya? Yes, just come back and chant something that you will keep your mind from wandering away. You can chant Bhutto Bhutto if you like. Or if you get tired of chanting, you can just keep watching what you are doing with your body. Okay, we have question and answer for about 1 hour and 2 minutes now. And it seems like all the question has come to an end. So maybe it's about time for me to say goodbye to you for now. And thank you for coming in and sending in your questions. I hope my answer will enlighten you somewhat. And if not, we'll meet again next time and do more of this question and answer. Okay, a couple more questions before I go. I had miscarriage long time ago. Do I need to share marriage with the no affinity being, as I understand that unborn child normally lingers on? You can share marriage with them if you like. When you make any marriage, then you should share the marriage that you make with them. From KB Leong, I have a question on feeling of some gases in the stomach before I start meditation. After I meditated for a while, it did not bother me after that. It seemed like a mental problem more than a physical problem. Okay. No, I think it depends on, if you think it's a mental problem and you can solve it with meditation, then it's okay. But if it still lingers after you meditate, then it's probably a physical problem. So you might have to go to see a doctor. But if you can solve it with your meditation, then it's probably a mental problem. Go Ching Chuan, thank you, Ajahn, for the Q&A session. Morris Twig, Prajan, during my meditation, I noticed the spaces between the sensations that arises. I notice it and let it for what it is. Is this right practice? Yes, just leave the sensation alone. Just realizing them that they are impermanent, they rises and ceases, they come and go. Don't try to react to them. Just merely watching them or knowing them, being aware of them. That's all you need to do. From Adeline Chin, Sadhu, Sadhu. Joy Cho, thank you. From Kwan Patum Napa, Sadhu, Sadhu. Okay, so everybody say thank you. So right now I will have to say goodbye to all of you, and please keep on practicing, and I hope that you will become enlightened soon. Thank you and goodbye.